Which has been the best cricket ground that you've played in, or which is your favorite cricket ground?
Definitely Newlands in Cape Town. I think just the picturesque mountain at the back. Yeah, it's just always a pleasure to
Now
play
you
there.
can always say Dhaka, Sylhet, Chittagong, because that's...
Not yet.
Have you tried the Indian cuisine? You've been into India before as well, but where do you rate and how watchful are you when you're eating food in India?
We do love Indian cuisine. I personally love Indian cuisine, and I love to try different foods. But I'm always wary not to do it before match day or things like that. But no, India has been incredible.
You good? Perfect?
Yeah, perfect.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much, Sune. This has been absolutely brilliant. And for me personally, that 100 in a test match in India was the highlight. Not that I haven't seen you score hundreds or I haven't seen you score match-winning knocks, but I personally enjoyed that 100. But what was your experience?
Yeah, me too. I think that was definitely the first one in my career, or the top one. I think if you look back, just the conditions and I think the lead up to that 100, I think a bit of short of runs, the last couple of innings. But no, I think just the work that went behind that 100 and just the conditions and everything put into it, definitely my top one.
One thing which I personally have to complain to you about is the fact that when I see Sune Luus on the park, why don't I see that leg spinner on the park, she used to have long hair, so I'm just complaining it to Sune right now. She used to have long hair and that hair used to go back and then the ball used to come out ripping through the hand and beating the bat. I don't see that. That leg spinner Sune has just got lost. Where is she now? Have you met her recently?
No, I think obviously leg spin is an art, and I think once you lose that confidence, that skill is very hard to get back, and that confidence is very hard to get back. And I think it was really affecting me mentally, and I wasn't enjoying the game as much because of it. So I think I had to make a decision, just regarding that. I think my parents always told me, once cricket feels like a job, then you can just go sit in an office somewhere. And I felt with leg spin it was really becoming very hard to get over that mental hurdle. And I just couldn't get that right anymore. So I think for me it was really just a mental decision to be made, just to focus on batting and really to get the love of the game back and really enjoy what I'm doing.
So let me take you back to a few years when you started playing cricket. I know under 10 cricket, the family has been really supportive, but you've been a sports person. You could have taken any other sport other than cricket as well, or you could have taken up another profession. But you chose the sport, you chose cricket, and your family also assisted you in that. So tell us, how did you pick on cricket from where you used to play with the boys, under 10 boys, and then slowly, gradually got into the under 15, 16, 17 setup? And I know met you almost more than a decade back when one of the days when Minya Dupree introduced me to you, watch this player, she'll be one of the stars in the future. But even before that, how did you take to the game?
Yeah, I think my dad was a cricket coach back in the day we called it mini cricket. And my brother used to play cricket as well. He's a bit older. So he used to just follow my dad around and just love to do everything they did. And that was just really one of the sports that I played alongside netball, athletics, tennis, swimming, everything. But I think that one really stuck out for me. I'm not sure why. It wasn't that I was better at it than netball or tennis. I think obviously in primary school I was equal in everything. It was just something I really enjoyed, and I felt like my parents enjoyed that too. And I think it came with beating boys. I think that just gave it an extra oomph. So I think I never really thought I could do a career out of it or make a career out of it. Back in the day there wasn't something like professional, women's cricket in South Africa, and I didn't know about any other international players or teams. I didn't know it was a thing. I didn't know Anjum Chopra played cricket. I never saw you on television.
No. Replay this.
On television. I never knew it was a thing. And then obviously slowly getting invited to camps, getting into the national setup. I slowly became aware of it, and even when I started playing international cricket, it wasn't professional at all. So I was stuck on going to study, just playing cricket on the side, until it really became an option for me. So that's kind of how it started, and I'm happy it became professional and I can do it for a career.
No, absolutely. I completely agree with that, because it was considered an amateur sport. I don't know what's the status today. I'm sure it's gone miles ahead from where it was. But that journey, which continued as a young 9-year-old, one fine day, one of the highest wicket takers in a calendar year, 37 wickets, cricketer of the year in South Africa in 2017. That period must have been like, wow. When you're on your way up, that is the period which you enjoy and you like learn so many things. How has cricket been that kind of a learning curve for you in your career?
Yeah, that was actually, I can't even remember those years. I think I was second year in university. I just studied and played cricket alongside. We didn't get paid much back then or even at all. So I wasn't really thinking about it. I was just studying and playing cricket and traveling the world, and I thought it was the best thing ever. So I think that really added to the success of not really taking it too seriously, really just enjoying it. You obviously know the stress that can come with being a professional cricketer, and once you become professional, added responsibilities comes along. But no, I think the enjoyment factor is really something that I've learned along the way. I think once you lose that, it really becomes hard to really focus and keep that positive mindset. It's obviously such an honor to play for your country and travel the world and meet different people and experience different cultures. But once you stop enjoying that, it becomes a job. So I think one thing for me that I've really learned about this whole cricket thing is to really just enjoy it, whether there's ups and downs. Cricket is a game of ebbs and flows. So you just got to ride the journey out and see where it takes you and really just be in the moment all the time.
I remember catching up with a couple of them in the lift one of the days, and I was like, the chirpiness was out with all the young players coming through, and then a few of them who've been around the dressing room as well. But when they have that sense of excitement and they're rubbing it off on the park, you always see a smile, even if the ball has gone as a wide from one of the younger bowlers. Like that smile is there. It wasn't there when I can say that it wasn't there when we started playing. We used to like, wide. I hope I get the next over. But they'll be like, no, it doesn't matter. It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
Has that really changed how we look at the game or how these younger players play the game?
I think so. I think it has to do with the professional. I think once you step onto the field, I think the junior and senior thing, that falls away. It's just whether you have more experience. And I think you need to give a young player the opportunity to make the mistakes. I feel like if they're scared to make mistakes, then they're not going to play their best cricket.
True.
So they need to walk onto the park and just be themselves and just play the way they play, because that's why they're here. So you don't want to take that away from them. So if they bowl a wide and you go, what are you doing? Then they're going to be scared to bowl the next ball, and then you're not going to get the best out of them. So you need to allow them to make the mistakes. I think Henry Dirksen bowled one off the pitch yesterday, and she went back laughing. And you're like, what are you doing? And then you see the bowling coach, But that's just the kind of person she is, and you can't take that away from her. Because I think if you take that away, you take her enjoyment away. But it's also good to see them feeding off Kapi, and I think their enjoyment and that chirpiness feeding off Kapi, she doesn't want to admit it, but she enjoys it as well. So no, it's good to have that in the side, and it's good to have that enjoyment.
Have you tried the Indian cuisine? You've been into India before as well, but where do you rate, and how watchful are you when you're eating food in India?
We always speak about the daily belly. I always get it, but this tour, touch wood, I've been fortunate enough to be okay the whole tour. But we do love Indian cuisine. I personally love Indian cuisine, and I love to try different foods. But I'm always wary not to do it before match day or things like that. But no, India has been incredible.
For WPL, I know you've been around the world. You've seen franchise cricket. There is a Women's Premier League which is happening, and obviously you've been watching it as well, but how do you see from first season to second season to how the third season could go, and your thoughts? I know you would want to get closest to it, but your thoughts on it?
Yeah, it's been incredible. I think obviously, adding more teams in the third season could be great for, I think the Indian team deserve it to have more players out in the park. I think the crowd has been incredible, and I think that raised the the awareness for women's cricket and the brand of women's cricket. The level and the level of cricket has been phenomenal, and I think I've always said that if you have a competition like that with overseas players, the amount of learnings the domestic players get from that You can't buy that anywhere. I think just playing with them and playing on these big stages, when they get to the Indian team and they have to play, international matches, it's the crowds are nothing new to them. Playing under nights is nothing new to them. Bowling to Marizon Cup is nothing new to them. So I think that really helps, players transition from domestic level to international level.
Right, we get you to some rapid fire questions. Very simple, very nicely put, but important. So, do you have a superstition?
No.
You've never had it?
No.
Excellent, excellent. If you had to pick one teammate to be, like now you have individual rooms, but if you had to pick one teammate who could be your room partner, who could you tolerate?
Oh.
We can give it a pass also.
Probably Anri Dirksen.
Okay.
I think she's very neat and fun.
Yeah.
And she knows when to just calm down.
The last part is the best.
Yeah.
Calm down, relax, that game's done. Okay. What's been your most inspiring or a memorable fan moment?
Moment. I think it's probably the World Cup final. I think there were so many people just giving us all the love in South Africa, and our families were there. So that was probably one of the
must have been right on top. Cape Town final.
Yeah.
It was close, but then again, that's an experience as well. Okay. What's been which has been the best cricket ground that you've played in, or which is your favorite cricket ground?
Definitely Newlands in Cape Town. I think just the picturesque mountain at the back. Yeah, it's just always a pleasure to
Now
play
you
there.
can always say Dhaka, Sylhet, Chittagong, because that's...
Not yet.
What's been the most favorite post-game celebration for you?
Post-game. I think it's just when we have the speaker on and good music is playing and everyone is just gathered around and just talking about the game and really just celebrating each other's success.
And who's the DJ who's playing that music?
Oh, unfortunately, Anri Dirksen.
She's a star. I must get to her. She's a star.
You need to have a sit-down interview with her.
One childhood memory about cricket that you still hold dearest to you?
There's so many. I probably think we used to play under 19 women's cricket for Titans back home, and we used to play in the boys under 13 day-night matches on a Friday. So I remember every Friday night we would play a day-night match against the boys, and there was something equivalent to Burger King Spur back home. So after every game you get a burger and a Coke, and that was why we played, so it was so good. But it was every Friday night we played good cricket and get to have a meal of food afterwards.
I must confess, although it's not the best thing to do, but my first tour to South Africa was in 2002, and we had a nice time to go between the matches to go do some sightseeing. And I used to tell my teammates, especially used to have non-vegetarian food, treat at Nando's, because you can go there, have a nice combo meal.
Yeah, that's very true. Nando's is a favorite.
It had not come into India at that point of time, so I'm like very early. So like, same. You go there, do this, do that. Nando's meal for you.
When was sorry, off topic.
That's
when
okay.
was the World Cup in South Africa when you were there?
2005. Yes.
I was one of the ball girls. I still have a photo with Danae. We had T-shirts, but it was
Danae was also a ball girl?
Yes, we were two of the ball girls.
We played the final.
Yes, you in Australia.
Against
at Super Sport Park.
Super Sport Park.
I remember.
And that game India should have won.
I can't remember the specifics.
Yeah,
I just
because
remember the photo.
So hobbies outside cricket, if there are any?
Mountains. Like to hike. Everything outdoorsy. Just hanging with family and friends, really.
Do you remember your first cricket bat?
Yes, it was a B&S cricket. I think it was a South African brand. I had it my whole primary school and up to probably matric, grade 12. That was my first one, yeah.
First injury and how you came out of it?
I've never broken anything in my life, touch wood. So I've never had a serious injury that kept me out of cricket. My first injury was probably just a small little twiggle in my foot.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Let me leave it at that. Your first cap for South Africa, do you remember who gave it to you? Nowadays it's like a function, literally. In a huddle, it's a speech and everything. They forget that they have to invite us also.
I know, sorry. I'll let them know.
Do you remember your first trip to India?
Yes, I do. I think it was a 50 over World Cup. I wasn't initially in the side. I think one of our players...
2013, that is.
Yes, I think one of our players had to fly home. And I remember there was an announcement over the school's speakers just saying I need to come to the office and pack my bags. And I remember being so upset because I was still in biology class and I really love biology. And I found my dad in the room and I was like, is everything okay? He's like, yeah, we just need to go to the embassy to get a visa for India. You're flying tomorrow. And I was like, what in the world? So yeah, and then I flew all by myself to India. It was the scariest thing ever. I didn't know anything about Wi-Fi or SIM cards or whatever, so I couldn't get in touch with my parents or the people in India from our team. I didn't play a game, obviously. I just remember eating everything, buying everything, and just, it was the best 2.5 weeks ever. Paid holiday.
Which has been like that moment that on a cricket field that has happened, and it's always been there in your memory, like whether it's resulted in a good one or not so good one, but it's that memory which you talk about to your friends, that happened. Is there any moment?
I think something that's very special to my heart. We had a World Cup in West Indies 2018, the T20 World Cup, and then myself and Laura got dropped from the side when Sri Lanka came the following year. And then I remember we had a little meeting, and I remember going to the airport, flying back home before the tour starts, and I got a phone call just as I got to the airport. Listen, someone's injured. Sorry, you're back in. Also, you're going to be captain. I was very confused. I'm like, okay. And I remember the very first game I played, just after that, I got a fiver. And I think that was just something, that just stood out for me in my own character was, whether you get dropped and you have to come back, you can always come back stronger, and you can always make a statement whenever, and just, if you stay positive and keep fighting, those things will happen.
You're from Pretoria, most part of the country as well when you travel. Like in India, when we travel, when we come into playing regional cricket, we always say you're from up north, you're from down south, and there is a rivalry within a rivalry. Does that exist in South Africa as well, on the cricket field only?
Yes, I think, it kind of changes now, but I think Pretoria versus Cape Town, so Northern versus Western Cape.
Yes.
I think growing up, that was always the biggest rivalry. Not anymore, no, because I live in Cape Town, so you kind of have to be nice towards people. But yeah, I think that was growing up. Even now, when Mignon and I talk about domestic teams, it's sad, but we'll never sign with Western Province because that's just always been a no-go. You sign with anyone else in the country, you just won't play for Western Province. Probably will change in the future because I do live in Cape Town and it becomes difficult to commute all the time, but for now that is still, you will not sign with Western Province.
But how has it been like when you look back? I know it was the longest journey and I wish the best for you as well, but when you look back and say, right, this is what I have not been able to do, but this is where I am and this is where I need to get. Of course, the World Cups, trophies, is all there, but there must be a wish or a plan or like a setting that you have thought for yourself.
Yeah, I think, like I said, it's just being that consistent player for the team, that consistent senior player. I don't think when I retire I want to look back to someone that was an average cricketer. I really want to make a statement, and I think it's probably not ideal to only have 200s under my belt at this time of my career, so it's really a mission of mine to get those big daddy hundreds, not just 100, but make it a big 100 and make it a match-winning 100. Because I think the hundreds you get when you lose the game is already forgotten. It's special, but you want to make that impact in the game. So I think that's really something I'm working on, is to just get to that consistent player and to score as many runs as I can.
People who know you, Sune, they know that you're a match winner. And the day you don't score runs against the opposition, they feel happy. But they all know that what you bring to the table and what a fierce competitor you are, even though you're very polite and very shy. But I know you're a fierce competitor. And that's exactly where we wish for you to be there. Top of the ranks, highest point on the mountain where you can get there and say, right, I've achieved this. And we actually hope that you can get there. The sooner the better.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much for your time, and it's always nice to host you. And when we get to Cape Town, we'll host you again.
Perfect.
Right on top of the Table Mountain. And we can get the entire Annery, Mignon, everyone around there. Say, hey guys, we're there.
Sure. Sounds good. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.